Jim Badley of Sebring, Ohio, is a football star, a National Honor Student, and one of America's best young drivers. Jim took first place in the AMVETS Driver Excellence Contest and won a new car and a college scholarship. Jim has some thoughts about safe driving.
Sometimes we kids get a bum rap and there's talk about safe driving, but safe driving has really paid off for me.
It's not often you see a Mexican in a suit.
The morning stream smells like apple pie.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to TMS. It's the morning stream, and as you know, it has a date, February 3rd, 2025. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Scott.
Hi there. Look at your
hello.
Your Disney love on the shirt today. I love
a little
it.
Stitch. Yeah. What I really like about this shirt is it's got like some weird.
Oh yeah. What is that?
Way.
Oh, it's like his alien language or whatever.
His alien language. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's probably like lame Disney adult written in alien language.
It looks a little like Klingon or something.
It kind of does. Yeah.
I like it.
Or Shi'ar.
Yeah.
From Marvel. This actually glows in the dark too.
Oh.
Puffy.
No way.
It's got ribs for her pleasure.
Does it have to be? Do you have to? Okay, so here's a great question. When I was a kid, all the things that glowed in the dark, with the exception of the things you cracked, and then they would glow.
Mm-hmm. The Siloam light sticks.
Yeah. Everything else you had to have in the light for a period of time, and then it would retain a glow for most of the day, and then, or the night, then it would go away. Was that
Still
just giving us all testicle cancer the whole time, and we didn't know it? Like, what was going on there?
No, I think that's safe. It's not like it's radioactive or anything. I think it's just a like a light absorption kind of thing, or a what do they call that? Not bioluminescence, but there's a term for this kind of glow in the dark stuff. Now the Siloam light sticks. Yeah. You know, you break one of those open accidentally, that's gonna give you testicular cancer or something.
Yeah, never. They always told us, like, don't open those.
That's a whole different thing. It's like the light sticks aren't. Hey, it needs to soak in light for a little bit before it lights up. Fluorescence. Thank you, Becca and Caducey.
That's what that is fluorescence.
Fluorescence.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that had a name. I thought so. When you talk about fluorescent lights, what are they doing? Are they just That takes electricity to light up, though.
Different. I mean, same principle, but something different about the way that it does that. Like it's as opposed to a filament, it's using. It's using a gas, fluorine, I'm guessing.
Bobby says chemofluorescence.
Chemofluorescence. Yeah, electricity passed through a gas. There we go. Yep.
BioCal says the use of radium in glow-in-the-dark products, particularly in watch dials and instrument panels, largely stopped in the early 1970s. They must have used radium for a while.
For watch dials and instrument panels. Okay.
How come I got a giant lump on my wrist? Have I been wearing this watch too long with the radium in it? Yeah.
So, well, there you go. So apparently we were using radium in those, and watch dials. Watch dials there wasn't a situation where you put in light and it just stays lit for a while. Those would be like,
they were always lit.
There's just exactly like they always gave off a thing. Yeah. So instrument panels too, as long as your car was on, your instrument panels would light up. So not like the glow in the dark, like Chewie's arm or something, or some action figure's arm or something like that.
Yeah.
By the way, Dr. Calhoun this morning let me know about, that action figure company, React, I think it's called, React or Secret 7 or something. They always come out with like action figures from licensed properties that never had action figures originally. So like you could get, what's a good example of that? Like Bing John Malkovich action figures.
Oh, is it Reaction?
I'm sorry, not Dr. Calhoun. I'm sorry, Dr. Tolbert.
Oh,
I keep getting my doctors mixed up.
That's funny because Claire did that yesterday, where she called Jerry a not a regular doctor. But
funny.
But that he always had this medical advice, and then he's like, "No, I actually." She was thinking of Calhoun, so that's a pretty funny thing to do. The very next day,
I confuse my real doctor with my not a doctor.
Not a doctor. Anyway, look at this. There's a whole bunch of these. There's like, what is this?
Who knows? Maybe it says at the bottom.
Okay, Motley Crue.
Motley
So there's
Crue
a good
action
example.
figures.
Yeah, there's a good example. Oh my gosh, dude, they have the whole set. That's just funny. $80 for the whole set.
Does the Def Leppard drummer guy come with removable?
I hope so.
Removable parts.
Yeah.
Anyway, they just announced, and maybe you'll see it in this scroll thing.
Whoops.
Micronauts action figures.
What? That's cool.
So they've only come out, they're only got 2 on pre-order, and of course I pre-order them. Here's the funny thing. The 2 that they chose, like there were, action figures in the Micronauts line, there were about 25 or 30 different figures. Time Traveler and Wing Commander or Flight Commander and a bunch of little plastic alien ones. The 2 that they decide to do are Baron Karza and Biotron. Biotron originally was so big you could put an action figure in a little glass container or a little plastic container on his chest.
Oh my.
That's how big he was.
Wow.
But now it's like this little 3 3/4 inch scale Biotron. And then Baron Karza, another one, I've got one back here. He's about, almost a foot tall, and yet they've got him in little 3 3/4 action figure size. So
nice.
Regardless, I still pre-ordered them. Heck yeah.
Well, I mean, they're Micronauts. It's you. It's Brian. It's Micronauts and Brian. They go together like cheese and crackers or something.
Exactly. I've got to buy it, even though it's weirdly sized.
Yeah.
I still got to buy it. I want a Microtron. I'm hoping they come out with a Microtron.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because he was a cool little. He was Short Circuit before number 5. He was that
right.
kind of looking creature.
Got the box head, robot head thing, and all that.
With the triangular treads and all that. Looked like a little tank. Yeah.
I got the only toy my mom was worried I was going to get sick from was if I somehow opened up my Stretch Armstrong. She didn't know what was in there. Right. She was so worried about this thing basically, this stretchy toy thing I have. Whatever's in these things, she was terrified. Whatever's in there was going to kill us all. I'm like, well, don't get us a Stretch Armstrong then, Mom, for Christmas. What are you thinking? But as far as I know, that stuff's harmless. I have no idea what's in there. It's like corn syrup.
I don't know. It was like little beads or something in a goo with beads.
Yeah, it was like a goo formy thing. It felt like corn syrup or something, but I would think that would crystallize over time. I have no idea what's in there. Someone in the chat will now look this up and tell us, which is fantastic.
I'm sure there's something. It's boba.
Yeah, maybe it's boba.
It's just boba. Yeah. And now they're just putting in our drinks.
Yeah. They got a big old, they got like crates and crates of old unsold Stretch Armstrongs back there, putting them in our drinks. Hey, speaking of things.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about things.
We were talking about things and stuff. So let's talk about this thing, this person. So we talk about Ringo Starr a lot with the whole peace and love.
Peace and love. I'm warning you with peace and love.
Exactly. Well, I found something with him that made me laugh. And it's this. So he said in some recent interview on a talk show, I don't even know who the talk show is with, one of the late night talk shows, he is famous for saying the following. Let me find the clip. It's right here. There it is. All right. So here's what he claims right here. I'll just play it.
I've never had a pizza.
What? Oh.
Never had a pizza.
It says he's never had a pizza.
Yeah. He and never had curry. He said this on Jimmy Kimmel.
Was it Kimmel?
A few days ago. Yeah.
All right. So it's Kimmel. He said it. Now, here's the funny thing. Mm-hmm. If any of you at home thought advertising was real or that they were speaking truth to us when you see an ad for anything, any kind of ad on TV, if you think it's real, this proves that it isn't, because there is Ringo Starr before a gigantic late night audience saying he's never had a pizza. Right?
I've never had a pizza.
Never had a pizza. Yeah. What I love about this the most is the middle bit.
I've never had a pizza.
What?
People going, what?
What? It's the 70s audience, taxi audience guy. What?
Yeah. So then I would say to Mr. Ringo Starr, if that is your real name, was this you in 1997?
To eat our pizza, crust first. Stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut.
He did a stuffed crust pizza ad and he put it in his mouth. Now, maybe he spit it out. I don't know.
He might have. Yeah, his explanation during Kimmel was that he said, there's so many things that I'm allergic to that I just can't take a chance on it. So my guess is that if he did that for the Pizza Hut stuffed crust ad, it was either, well, you better make that with bulgur wheat and not put any cheese in the stuffed crust. Otherwise, it's going in the bin. I'm warning you with peace and love.
Peace and love. Do not give me pizza. Peace and love.
Yeah, but no, he explained that on Kimmel that he, and it might just be that he'll eat his own, like if he were to make a pizza at home because he knows what's in it, he'd eat it. But he explained that he's got so many allergies, it's not worth him to chance it. So who knows how Pizza Hut talked him into it.
I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be funny if he lived the longest, like outlived Paul. You know,
he might. He's the youngest, I believe. He was the youngest of the Beatles. I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought Paul was the youngest. Paul always just looked like the youngest. So what do I know?
Oh, George Harrison was the youngest.
Oh,
okay.
Well, that's a bummer. Yeah. I don't like that. Second to die.
For some reason, I thought Ringo was the youngest, but...
Well, with peace and love, we hope he can get the pizza that will not disagree with him. That'd be great.
Yeah.
What else we got going this morning?
I like that Fastidious and both Bombats said George is the youngest, and then Bombats follows it with, duh. Like, of course George is the youngest.
Yeah, is this common knowledge? We're all supposed to know the age lineup of the Beatles.
I did know this. And completely.
Yeah, but it's not a thing where you're all like, as a child, I was taught at an early age which Beatle was the oldest. It's not like a thing we all have to know.
No, but as a Beatles fan, I remember he's like 3 or 4 years younger than the next youngest. Like he was considerably younger than Paul and John when they started putting people together.
How old is Pete Best?
3 or 4.
Is Pete Best the older than all of them, or is he?
Oh, I don't know.
Just curious.
Let's see. Beatles ages. I wonder if I can get. Let's see. So when the Beatles formed, John Lennon was 20. Okay. Paul was 18. This is funny. So the Search Labs, the AI Google, right? John Lennon was 20 years old when the Beatles formed in 1960. Paul McCartney was 18 when the Beatles formed in 1960. Harrison was 19 when the Beatles formed in 1960, so he was actually older than Paul. Then Ringo Starr says, born July 7th, 1940, Starr was a member of the Beatles.
So once again, Google's AI results really suck. They're so bad. I don't know what's going on over there. I know it's a gold rush and everybody's trying to catch up.
Still alive and 83. Ringo Starr is 84. So he's Pete Best is actually also a year older than Paul McCartney.
Okay, so wait, Paul McCartney is younger than George Harrison then?
Paul McCartney is George Harrison is the youngest.
He is the youngest.
1943. Yeah.
Okay.
Paul McCartney is 82.
Yeah.
Ringo Starr is 84. Stuart Sutcliffe was the same age as Lennon, and Pete Best is alive and 83.
I'll say this for Ringo Starr.
Yeah,
his hair coloring is pretty good for a guy who's in his 80s.
Yeah, his dye is great. He's doing a great job dyeing his hair in that clip. Yeah. I noticed that when he was on Kimmel and I was watching that interview. He also, admitted that Bob Dylan was the first person to give him pot.
Oh, introduced him, did he?
Introduced him, yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, Kimmel says so. And is it true the rumors that Bob Dylan was the first person to give you pot? And he says, well, it was one of his friends, but it was in the same room with him.
Whoever was
Bob
with him.
Dylan's pot, but he one of his friends gave it to me.
It was his pot with peace and love. It was his pot.
It was his pot, and then I chucked it in the bin with peace and love.
Oh man, his stupid PSA will live forever.
Oh, it's so great. Just the line, I'm warning you with peace and love. It's I'm going to make a t-shirt. Just says, I'm warning you with peace and love.
With his face just kind of looking stern.
With his face.
Yeah.
Doing his peace sign.
Did he talk about Caveman at all in that interview? I always want to ask him about it.
No.
I just want to say, hey.
I was so hopped up on heroin in those days. It was me and Barbara Bach. We don't remember a bloody thing about it.
I remember a bug squish on a face. That's it. With peace and love.
Yeah. God, that's the one piece of memorabilia I really still wish I had was the piece of paper they gave us at the movie theater that had the translation of all of the things that they said in that movie.
Oh my gosh, that was
caveman words.
That was the thing they handed out?
That was a thing they handed out.
Oh,
not like you could consult it during the movie, but
what a cool thing, though.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's. I wonder if people eBay.
I'm sure somebody's got one on eBay. Yeah.
Love that idea, Brian. You might be sitting on a gold mine or $20. You never know.
Well, I'm not sitting on anything because I lost it.
Well,
but
that's true.
I do still have my Quarks bar menu somewhere.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a.
That's nice.
That's a thing. Yeah.
Missed that thing. I wish they'd do it again. All right. Well, hey, got a phone call about logos.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Yeah, we were talking about Buc-ee's and their logo ripoff thing, all that, the lawsuit, although we didn't feel like the logo they were suing was all that bad, but, whatever. Right. They're fighting the fight. This is a call about that, apparently, and it's got a little Marvel connection. Here you go.
This is regards to the cease and desist thing about drawings of DC and Marvel characters. I think you said Marvel doesn't care too much, but there's a place here in town that is literally called Juggernaut Home Services. Quite literally a cartoon drawing of Juggernaut, X-Man guy, holding a jackhammer, looking all angry. Thought that was interesting. Love the show, though, yo, bro.
Sweet. Terrible phone quality, and also this description made me think it had something to do with the logos of Buc-ee's, and because I'm not screening these calls anymore, I had no idea what this is about. I should quit guessing is what I should do.
Right. It's time to upgrade your tin can. Maybe get the tin can 15 to send us voicemail messages.
That's right. Yeah, I think you'd think that would actually cause a stir, but maybe it's such a small hometown company that nobody cares,
Yeah, there's a cleaners, it's called Apple Cleaners, not a mile away from my house, that uses the Apple logo with the bite taken out of it. Like it is like they just looked up Apple online and said, "There's an Apple. Let's use that."
Yeah, why not? That's great though. I don't. For the record, too, it's not that DC is more litigious now and Marvel isn't. It's that back then they were more so because the internet was still sort of a fresh new idea. Nobody was putting stuff up online. Fan art wasn't really a thing, and if people were selling fan art at like conventions, it was still like these companies would get all worked up about it. They don't do that now. They don't care now.
It should be protected anyway under parody.
Well,
Batman.
Some of it is,
Flash.
but the problem is it isn't that it isn't protected. It's that if Marvel sues you, you're not going to go to court and fight that because you don't have the pockets Marvel does. So even if they're in the wrong and you could prove your case, you're going to spend $500,000 trying to defend yourself, and why would you? So that's how they do it. Yeah, they don't care anymore. That's why cease and desist usually work, is because the threat of what it would cost you to defend yourself is more than,
for sure, is more than worth saying. Hey, come on, this is parody; it's protected. But I mean, but you think that they would say, well, we could go after them. This is parody. Let's not. They're just like blanket. No, sue everybody.
I think it depends. Like Nintendo does that. They'll sue you for all kinds of stuff. They'll take down your channels. They'll demonetize your commentary. All you have to do is like show a picture of Mario and they can go after. I mean, they can do it. It doesn't mean that they're going to win if it goes all the way. It's just that creators like us don't have the pockets for that. So what do? We capitulate and go, okay, fine. That's one of the problems with any system of justice, is that those with money tend to win.
It's true.
All right. So there's that. Hey, we also got this, a call about Lyft and taxes. That I know is for sure in this file because it's written on the file name. So let's find out what that's about.
Hey, Suzuki and Bugatti. This is Jason from Pennsylvania calling. Brian, last year you got me to start driving Lyft to make some extra cash. And I had a great year, loved meeting people, and now it's time to do taxes. And I remember you saying you knew what to do and you had figured it all out last year. So could you reiterate what you had to do so that I can figure it out? And maybe some other people might need to do so as well. Thanks so much. Love the show, though.
I assume this stuff's like all over the internet, but did you have some advice?
I mean, basically, and hopefully at the time when I talked about this, you picked up a program. The one I use is called Everlance, and what it does is it's always running and it's always logging your trips. So when you leave the house, it sees the path that you take and logs it into a document that you can see, and how many miles you went before you came back home. And now, granted, I leave the house other times that I'm not lifting, but because I lift during a certain time of day, usually, and certain days of the week, I can basically download that whole spreadsheet and delete the rows, just do a little formula that basically only shows me the rows that would be during the time that I lift. So here, when you're driving for Lyft, Lyft and Uber only pay you for the time that you have a passenger in your car. And you, because you have to drive to get to them, or you drive to go get gas to put in the car to go drive for Lyft or Uber, or all those other things, all those other parts of driving, or you get taken all the way out to the airport and you don't get a ride back, so you have to drive back on your own. All those things are trips that you can log as business mileage, because it's for your work, it's for Lyft or Uber, and you want to make sure you track that. So hopefully at the time you picked up a little program called Everlance. If you did not, I definitely say pick it up now for sure. I imagine, you could figure out what you're, go for 2 weeks or something that you're doing Lyft and Uber, and see how many miles, in addition to the miles that Uber and Lyft track, you're driving when you drive for those agencies, and figure out an average, a daily average, and then apply that to the number of days you drove.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that wouldn't fly probably in an audit, but it's probably gives you an idea of how much you should be seeing.
Do they send you like a 1099 or whatever the hell they do?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you make enough, if you make over a certain amount, and which is pretty minimal, I think it's like over $5,000, $4,999 or something, then they send you a form that you have to turn around and report to the IRS. Yeah,
sure. And when they call it, is the Everlance name because it's like freelance? Is that the idea? Does it track?
I think so.
Does it track anything else? Like, can you put hours in there, or say
you can log anything, and I think you can log any of that stuff in Everlance, but its primary reason, it's a raison d'etre. I'm sure I screwed that up. Is for tracking rideshare. But if let's say you do a job where you're doing sales calls, you have to drive to go see clients. It tracks all that stuff for you too.
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So if I was doing like hunched over a tablet doing animation for some company freelance, I could track all that shit. Track all my time.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I don't see a place actually to enter in hours. For that, I would use Harvest. Harvest, I absolutely love for tracking hours and invoicing my clients and all that sort of thing. Harvest is great.
Harvest, search for it by name. Harvest.
Yeah, harvestapp.com, I believe is what it's called, and that's what I use for all my freelances. Is Harvest.
Nice. So there's that. Brian, how'd your weekend go? What'd you get up to?
It was good. So Tina and I went on a mystery date Friday night. It was her turn to pick. So she took me to something called Nerd Night, Nerdnite. And this is a monthly event at the Bug Theater in Denver. And it's almost like mini 20-minute TED Talks. On subjects where somebody just goes into a very deep dive on something, and it's like, oh wow, okay, cool. I've got now a general knowledge about these three topics. And the three topics that we had were the existence of life on Mars, and somebody who actually worked for NASA and worked on two of the missions, Opportunity and
the rover missions, those things.
The rover missions, and worked on two of them and explained, what they do and how they get stuff to Mars, and why it takes only 300 days to get to Mars, but coming back would take 3 years or something. Fascinating stuff, like really, really cool. Talk about that. Then another person talked about the history of zines and how you can make a zine out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper really easily, and that sort of thing. Like and the first zines and the old punk zines of the 70s in the UK and stuff like that. Tally has sent me in a correction. Awesome. I wonder about which thing did I F up that she's sending me a correction for. And then the third one was the best, spotting art forgeries.
Oh, weird.
From a woman who teaches classes and actually is an art historian, and talks about the whole Vermeer fiasco and all of these ways that they use non-invasive and invasive measures to to identify art forgery. It's really, really cool.
That sounds awesome.
So
crazy.
It was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get this great deep dive. You get this great crash course in learning about all these things. Super, super cool. Tally, I can't listen to audio during the show. You sent me 9 seconds of audio that I can't play during the show.
You're a bunch of damn distracting freaks for a reason. You guys know you've earned that title every damn day, right? I'll
listen to this after the show, but if you really want to correct me with something that I can explain, like I can talk about live, you kind of have to do it as text.
Also, if you want audio played, you probably should send it here because I need to pipe it through my shit. So if you're going to send that, send me a copy, and then I can play it live. Unless you say something terrible, don't do that. But I can play it live if you want. Anyway, you also saw the...
So she said, it's a pronunciation. So how should I present it to you, good sir? And I replied back, phonetically.
Phonetically. She put all the dashes and phonetic letters. That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right. We also, yesterday, saw the marathon Brutalist, the 3.5-hour movie with an intermission starring Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones and Guy Pearce.
Is it right in the middle, by the way, this thing, the intermission, they stick it right in the center? Or is it?
Right in the center, yeah. Okay. We asked, we saw it at Draft House, of course, and we asked because we went mid-afternoon thinking, all right, about intermission time is about when we'd want to order and eat dinner. So we asked about what time that was, and I figured it out and kind of glanced down at my watch to see when it was about 20 minutes before the intermission, and that's when I ordered food, so that during intermission we were able to just sit and eat in the light and not order it at the same time as everybody else in the theater when the orders their dinner. But it's right in the middle, and what's really cool is they give you a timer on screen. It's 15 minutes, and then they show like a wedding photo of 2 of the characters from the movie, and it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like while you're sitting there in intermission, you're kind of looking at these characters, and it's really cool. Anyway, so it was great. It was a really good film. It's not going to unseat Conclave and Honora at the top of my list, but it's easily in the top half of the movies for me. So
great. I don't mind a long movie if it's good. Sign me up.
Yeah, it's very, very good. There's a little bit of SA in there. There's some graphic nudity. Beware. Just so you know. But for those of you who are triggered by those things, then you may want to skip it.
Yeah, if you don't like broken noses, just know Adrian Brody is all over this thing.
They talk, his nose is a topic of conversation so many times in the show.
So it comes up. It comes up in the movie.
It
Crazy.
Comes up. Yeah.
Okay.
They talk about his nose. Like, what happened to your nose? Oh, I jumped off a moving train and hit a tree branch or something like that.
So the dude he's playing, is this based on a real story? I assumed it was.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that because I was not 100% sure. I think it is. It's a Hungarian immigrant named Laszlo Toth.
Yeah. He's a guy that supposedly introduced brutalism as an architectural style,
correct.
Whatever.
Hungarian born.
I haven't looked that hard into it, but I assumed it was real or based on a real story.
Wikipedia. Who's the real? While Toth never existed, his character is based on 2 great Jewish Hungarian pioneer architects. So nope, there's no Laszlo Toth. But there. It's funny. There's the guy who vandalized Michelangelo's Pieta statue in 1972 by that name.
Wow,
but,
wild.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Give me stars. Give me stars out of 5. What do you give it?
I give it 4.5 broken noses out of 5.
Excellent. Perfect.
Yes.
My
gosh. Yeah. Guy Pearce is freaking, I don't know if Guy Pearce got nominated. I can't remember if he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but he should be because his role he did a really good job.
Yeah, he's great. I like that guy a lot.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Wayland, the starter of Wayland Yutani, the Nightmare of Alien.
He is, yeah.
Never forget.
Here's another thing that's weird about that movie. The opening credits scroll sideways.
Yeah.
So like listing all of the, directed by, produced by, all that stuff is all horizontal across the screen. And the closing credits crawl goes diagonally across the screen, which I've never seen before.
Very brutalist of them to do that.
Very brutalist, exactly. Yes.
All right, time for this. Be one of us and welcome Mr. Brian Dunaway to the program. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Scott and Brian.
Are you here to play little Monday half-asses? Is that what you're here for?
I'm here for the whole ass.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, guess what we've got for you? The whole ass.
We've got the whole ass.
Brian, who are we playing for today? What's on the docket for winning? All that stuff.
I'll give you all that information. Welcome to the Morning Half-Ass. Is a trivia game where I'm actually going to be giving you the answers. I'm going to give Scott and Brian a category and 6 possible answers, 3 of which are correct, and 3, like assuming that if you are forced to throw up, it doesn't count, are incorrect. Depending on how confident they feel with the category, they can provide 1, 2, or 3 guesses, but if they get any wrong, they get 0 points for that round. 1 right gets you a point, 2 right gets you 3 points, and 3 right gets you 5 points. Good luck getting any of that. The player with the most points after 3 rounds wins the prize for their contestant. And here are the contestants I've pulled for members of the Tadpool that aren't able to be here live. Scott, you're playing for Michael Miller in Cottage Grove, Oregon.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I like it.
Michael Miller.
All-American name. Mike Miller.
And Brian, you're playing for Scott Price, a.k.a. Silas, in Tigard or Tigard, Oregon. It is the Battle of the Oregonians.
Oh, man. Oregon on display. That's awesome.
That's right.
Congratulations, guys. Yeah, free weed. I don't know what that means.
There you go. So, and we'll talk about what those prizes are. One of them is really, really good. Well, actually, all 3 of them are really good.
I was going to say one of them is really, really bad.
One of them is like so good. It's one that I spent money on to buy on Steam, and that's saying something.
That's an
all right,
awesome
let's
game.
get to our game here.
Yeah.
You guys are both logged in and ready to play. I'm reloading. There we go. All right, question number 1, or
I bet these are easy.
Totally. This is so easy. You guys will have no problem with this. Which of these are Confederate Civil War generals? Which of these are real, actual Confederate?
What are you trying to get me killed?
Yeah, totally are. Nathan Bedford Forrest, Jabez Curry, George Pickett, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, Ambrose Burnside, and Braxton Bragg. Which 3 of those are actual Confederate Civil War generals?
I see.
There's only one I'm absolutely sure about.
Well, there's one on here that's a little like it's trying to trick you. I don't know if you. Maybe I may get the end and go, shit, I was wrong. But I'm picking 2 because I don't feel that confident.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with 2 because I think maybe a place was named after this person. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, the one you guys locked in on immediately is Nathan Bedford Forrest. Forrest, and he absolutely was.
That was the only one I remembered for sure.
A Confederate Civil War general. So you guys both got that one.
Yeah.
As far as the other 2, you guys split. One of you chose Braxton Bragg. The other one chose Ambrose Burnside. Right? Ambrose Burnside, by the way, the guy that was responsible for the term sideburns. That's where sideburns came from, was Ambrose Burnside.
No.
Did he have sideburns? Just curious.
Yes.
Ambrose Burnside was a Union general. Braxton Bragg was a Confederate general.
Shit.
Jabez Curry was a lieutenant colonel. And Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, who sounds like he should have been a Civil War
I love that name.
general. He's actually the attorney general about 8 years ago.
Oh, wow. That guy.
Yes. Let's just say that I dodged a bullet there. Thank God.
Just say,
I'm glad to have the points, but I'm more glad that I didn't blow it.
I thought the Bragg one was a misdirect. I screwed up there. Yeah. I almost chose it and then thought that's too obvious because then you got the Bragg. There's a place. I think there's a tank maybe, or I'm thinking of the Abrams tank. Never mind. But there, it's the Bragg thing is like Fort Bragg and all that. Anyway.
Yeah.
I screwed up.
Makes sense. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Brian going into the question 2 with 3 points. Let's see if Scott can tie.
Union soldiers, come on.
No, this is something that's far more important and more relevant in the history of these great United States and the world, really, as a whole. Which of these are Kardashians?
Oh, God.
Your choices are Khloe, Caitlin, Kylie, Robert, Courtney, and Tiffany. 3 of those are.
How fast can I
Kardashians.
answer this?
I know you guys both like.
Oh wait! Oh, I did it wrong.
Did you?
Oh, it's too late. I can't take it back.
Yeah,
I
can't take it back.
clicked on the other lane. I clicked in that lane.
Yeah, you got a little too quick
I
there.
can't believe I just did that. You're welcome, Scott.
All right,
You're
well,
welcome.
Let's see how you guys did. You both immediately locked in on Chloe. I think just because it was the first name on the list. Yeah, Chloe for sure. And then you guys. Oh, actually, you both locked in on Kylie as well.
Yeah.
Kylie's a Jenner. Come on, Kylie Jenner.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
But the embarrassing part is I clicked on Caitlin. I meant Courtney.
Yeah.
I
Caitlin
thought-
is also a Jenner.
I thought Courtney was something else now and didn't go by that anymore. I guess
She might have a new last name, but she was a Kourtney Kardashian. She and Robert and Chloe were the 3 answers.
I got too cocky. I fell down in my face.
Do you guys see? I don't know if he still calls himself Yee or whatever, but what's his name? Yesterday at the Grammys, his new
the great inflatable man,
his new lady. Did you see what she was wearing? Holy!
She's always wearing that. Every time she turns around, she's wearing something like that. She's always getting naked.
I should say what she was not wearing. It was literally just a see-through thing. That's all it was.
Oh, really? Wow.
And I mean, like you may go, oh, sometimes people wear the sheer this or that, or it's evocative or kind of flesh toned. No, dude, she's freaking naked with
It's
a clear
just
thing
wear,
on.
like saran wrap or something.
Yeah.
You guys must never visit TMZ. She's like every week. She's like, look at my parts. My lovely lady parts.
I never go there. You're right.
I never visit TMZ. I also did not watch the Grammys, but I did watch a clip this morning
of
Chappell Roan getting Best New Artist. Good for her. It is a phenomenon.
Sure.
Whenever a celebrity dies, I always go to TMZ because they always have it the first and the best, and it's always accurate.
Yeah. Did you see? Unfortunately, they are the quickest to be right about the deaths. I don't know what their deal is or why they have those kind of connections, but they're never wrong about celebrity deaths. Did you guys see Jaden Smith's
hat?
Castle hat? Look at this, Brian.
No.
Look at this. Look at me over here. Look at this.
Okay.
He wore that. Do you see it?
He's on there. Oh, geez, really? Okay.
He's got a castle on his head.
He walked around in that. That's not even a good 3D printed castle. It's like made out of paper or some shit.
It's foam. It's like Bill Duran's weight room foam.
Yeah.
This suit needs something.
I know. You want it light. Like if you use resin for something like that, you're going to be hurting. But
anyone know what the little heart symbol is? I don't know what it is, but it's on his lapel.
Respect.
Was that a thing people were wearing? Something about respect? All right.
No, I was saying the castle is respect.
Oh, I think it's Castle Grayskull where the secrets of they're held in there. He-Man goes in there.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the voice actor
sent me a photo of what Kanye's +1 was wearing. That's what I wanted to see.
Oh, I can't put that shit up.
I think got it all blurred out. It's all right.
It's basically porn. Speaking of which, not speaking of porn. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, the voice actor for He-Man passed away yesterday.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Really?
88 years old.
TMZ.
Yeah.
Dang it!
88 years old. Pretty long life.
Yeah.
I'm here to talk to you about your body.
I guess you did get me, Skeletor.
He sure did.
Here's one you can show.
All right, what do you got?
I love this photo right there.
Oh yeah, it's basically they had to. She's nude.
Jeez.
She's essentially nude in this thing.
Holy Toledo.
And normally what you'd do is you'd have some kind of underwear thingy, at least on the bottom, that's like made out of flesh tone something. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It's just she's just wearing this sheer thing, and Kanye's just like, yo, what's up? Look at this. Look what I got. Like, it's just such
Have
a
you
weird.
seen our Michelin outfits? This is way better.
Yeah.
The Michelin Man outfits are.
It's funny. I can't even find. Like just putting in her name, I can't find an uncensored version of that outfit. It's just like, yeah, Google, nope, not showing you. Even with safe search off, you're not seeing this.
That's crazy. It was a reel. It was, I think, Instagram is where I saw it, and it was. They didn't hold back. They were like,
yeah, there's one on 29 Secrets. Jeez.
Yeah.
Not even an attempt. Yeah. It's also funny how much she looks like Kim Kardashian.
Oh yeah, no, he has a type.
Don't say that. You're going to cause problems.
Yeah,
Whatever.
In the West household.
He has a type, and he goes after him every time, so it's fine.
Yeah.
All I know is I would wear the castle before I'd wear that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is the one that's been
my wife's
making.
damn name out of your moat.
That's right.
That's the one they didn't post on Instagram before they did this one. By the way, It's Michelin Man. Have you seen this?
I love that.
Oh, now that I like.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
Is that real? Or is that AI generated?
Apparently, they've been getting bigger and bigger. I don't know if you those little jackets he wears, they keep getting bigger
awesome.
and bigger.
This is not my beautiful suit.
This has got to be AI. It's got to be.
You would think so. Guess what?
I don't know. I'm gonna have
I don't think it is.
I'm gonna have to Pinchy Zoomy later. There's something's wrong here.
I can't count any fingers.
Yeah, there's other ways. We'll look it up. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Next question. Where the hell are we?
We have a whole nother question here. Again, score still at 3 for Brian, 0 for Scott. Let's see how we do with question number 3. Look at this list and tell me which of these things happened in 1950. Which of these things happened in the year 1950? Dr. Phil was born. The Korean War started. The first TV remote was introduced. AK-47 assault rifles entered production. Disneyland opened to the public. And Elvis Presley's first gold album was released.
Holy shit. I don't know any of these.
I don't either. Some of these feel really right, and others feel really wrong.
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna go all out. I got to. So.
Yep, you gotta.
I don't think that's correct. I'm not doing that one. I think that might be. And I'm doing that. I don't know.
Okay.
Am I going with that?
That's locked in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine. Walking into that then.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I saw the one you were really iffy about, Brian. I say select it, then unselect it.
Well, I was doing math. Well, I just got through doing Dr. Phil math, and I was still trying to do Korean War math. I was like, let's see. I was like, I wasn't sure, so I was like, I don't have time to do the math. We'll do it this.
All right.
Sure.
Well, let's see how you guys did. Scott, you selected Dr. Phil, born in 1950.
C-75?
Dr. Phil was born in 1950. Yes.
I was born in 1950. Come out here and let's all rub our nubs together. Freaking hate that guy.
How do you know me?
Let's see here, Brian. You were hesitant about the Korean War starting.
Yeah, because I was reading about the Vietnam War yesterday, and I was trying to remember. I'm like, did it go first or second? I'm like, I just couldn't remember.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Korean War started in 1950. Oh. And unfortunately, Scott, since you chose 3 answers and that wasn't one of them, that means that you got 0 points. First TV remote introduced, by the way, the other one you selected, Brian, or the one you selected, was actually invented in 1950. So here are your answers.
Shit.
Dr. Phil, Korean War, and first TV remote, the ones on the left side there, all 1950.
Things that sucked in 1950. You should call it that.
Yeah.
The AK-47 entered production in 1947. I don't know if that's the reason for the name, but
that is great.
But if nothing else, it's a way you can remember
All kill 47.
Shite.
That's right.
All right.
Disneyland opened to the public in 55, June 1955, and then Elvis Presley's first gold album was released 1 year later in 1956.
I would have thought much later. Jeez,
real quick update. The 2 separate AI image detectors say that this is AI image generated or deep faked. But not by much. 55% is all on this one. This one thinks that image is about 45 to 39% AI versus human created. So it's not exactly a clear cut one. It may be he's got a coat that big.
We need is just to help us. It still might be AI generated, but I want some video. I want to see him walking around in that thing.
Yeah, I want to see him moving. I want to see some practical. I want to see him walk into a wine store like George and not knock over all the wine.
Exactly. Yes. Well, that means that Brian wins. Congratulations, Brian. And by proxy, that means congratulations going out to Scott Price, a.k.a. Silas, in Tigard, Oregon. Tigard. You are getting a copy of Jagged Alliance 3 and Fort Solis on Steam.
Now, those are both great. I just want to say something before Brian says what our loser got. Those are both great games. They are. They're very good. Jagged Alliance 3 in particular, very good. Tactical turn-based, post-apocalyptic fun. Great game. But I'm just going to say it now before you even say it. The loser won the better game today. By mile.
At least in my opinion, too. Yeah, I would agree. Michael Miller, you are in Cottage Grove. You are getting a copy of Against the Storm on Steam. All of these courtesy of Nighttime Visions. Big thanks to Nighttime Visions for sending these over.
Very much so. And Scott Price, you should be glad that I tanked today.
You blew it. You blew it.
Because Against the Storm is one of my favorite games of the last couple of years. It's so good.
Scott Price is getting
sorry.
Jagged Alliance and Fort Soul.
Sorry. Michael Miller is who I should have said. So you're going to be in the part of Oregon that truly won. Sorry, the rest of Oregon. Anyway, that's fantastic. Congratulations to everybody involved, including Brian Dunaway, who's the big wiener today as well.
Thank you for
I like
pronunciation. Tigard. Tigard is apparently how it's pronounced. Thank you, chat room.
Tigard. Oh, it's not Tigard? All right.
Not Tigard.
It's not Tigard.
Tigard.
Yeah.
Wait,
oh my gosh, I just got tigered.
Yeah, I've been tigered.
The guy at Sing Feed and Roy got tigered.
So now it's a verb. I like it. I don't want to get tigered, man.
Got roid.
Congratulations.
Good job, Dunaway. You won. Now here's how you're gonna win again. You're gonna step it up with me this weekend and watch and play a bunch of Dino Crisis.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know what that is? That's a crisis of dinos. That's when all the dinos are a problem. It becomes a crisis. Then you got to shoot those dinosaurs, and you got to do it on your PlayStation 1. That's where you have to do it.
They called it panic horror. So
Yeah.
we're not doing Resident Evil, which is horror. We're doing panic horror.
Yeah, but it's Capcom redefining two different genres. So we gotta give them some props. So that'll be this weekend, or this will be Friday on 1:30 Mountain Time. We'll talk about it again on Wednesday. But between now and then, I'd like you to kiss our butts. Oh. I'd call it a tie.
Yeah.
That felt like...
He said it during the setup, and I think that does... You can't count that.
Yeah.
It's got to be... You've got to hit that button after. It's like Alex Trebek. You can't hit that button afterwards.
No. Rest his soul. Wonder if there is a heaven, do you think He-Man, or not He-Man, the guy that voiced He-Man will get up there and like who greets him at the thing? Probably like...
this big purple tiger.
Like it'd have to be other voice actors who've passed, like...
Oh, right. There you go. Yeah.
I can't think of anybody. Casey Kasem would be there, and he'd do like his best Shaggy or something.
I mean, I think...
Skeletor's still alive, Fastidious. He's around, that guy. Alan...
Mel Blanc, I think, has passed away. Can help greet him at the pearly gates.
He's probably in charge, right? He's like the...
Probably is. Abadi, welcome here, folks.
Welcome here, folks.
I said it, by the way, before Jeff H. typed it. I just want to, for the record.
I believe you. It's an important record we keep here.
It is, exactly.
All right, we're going to...
Thank you, Tali. Raison d'être.
Oh, that was the correction?
Raison d'être.
Oh, I'm so glad that we spent 10 minutes or so time dealing with that.
I did find time to listen to her message.
Fantastic.
Raison d'être.
Perfect use of everyone's time. Brian, let's take a break. When we come back from said break, it'll be time to talk to our pal Bobby. He's got some science to talk about today. All right, so that's happening. Whether you guys like it or not, he's swinging in. All right? On his big science poll, ready to give it to everybody, whether they like it or not. So Brian's going to play a song, and then we'll come back to that.
Science poll. This was the boost of positive energy that I needed this morning. There's a band called Goose, and a song called Give It Time. This is the first single from their brand new upcoming album, coming out April 25th, called Everything Must Go. I think the Manic Street Preachers also had an album called Everything Must Go. They're right after the release of the album, they're going to headline a tour called the Run of Us Tour. Begins May 30th in Bend, Oregon. Nearby Tigard and
Jeez.
There are two winners.
A lot of
Everything's Oregon today. Yeah.
Great.
Anyway, this is something to just brighten up your Monday and just brighten up things overall, because my God, we probably could use it. The song is called Give It Time. Here is Goose.
What's for dinner tonight? We're eating it now. We're having a Happy Meal.
It's said to have magical powers.
And we're back. Who was that?
That is a group called Goose from a new album coming out in April called Everything Must Go. That is the first single released, and it's called Give It Time.
Nice.
That's the shorter radio edit. If you like that and you want to hear more of it, there is a 6.5 minute version that I listened to this morning that I said, this is so good. Man, it's long.
Yeah. Fastidious and Whatnot in the chat both say Goose is great. Goose is a good jam band. Cool. I've never heard of these guys.
I really liked it. I heard this morning and said, "Oh, this is the thing I needed this morning." So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to the Bobby time.
I like that.
Yep.
Bobby time.
Bobby, get in here, boy. Here we go. Add them to the call. Create. Okay. He'll be joining us, and we'll be having some fun. Let's click this.
Science!
Bob is hungry, and the soup looks good.
Hey, look who it is. It's old Bobby Frankenberger. And when I say old, I don't mean like age-wise. He's younger than us by a lot.
That's right.
But he's here like he is at least twice a month as our science correspondent. And brand new month, brand new science with Bobby. Bobby, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing all right. As all right as the year has allowed me to be so far.
Yeah, it's a weird year to be all right in. Feels like we're not really sure we're all that all right.
Finding little pockets of all right is what we need to do.
That's right.
This year.
That's right.
Yeah, no kidding. That's the truth. I was actually funny. I don't know what made me think about this just now, but I was almost going to have my daughter here with me because she was supposed to do like a shadowing day, and she's shadowing me as a podcaster and science communicator. But that got moved to Friday, which I was bummed because I was like, oh, you could be like on a show with me. That'd be great.
Totally, yeah. Junior science correspondent.
I'll tell you what. If she wants to pop in for a quick bit of experience with you on Friday's TMS Friday for patrons, we'll do that.
Ooh.
So
okay, I'll talk to you. I'll let you.
Yeah, let us know if she's down. We'd love to do it because kids are great and adults. So that'd be great. Always here for the kids if we can. Well, that's great, Bobby. It's a time right now where it feels like. And you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like some of our scientific endeavors as a nation, maybe even as a world community of scientists, is a little bit not at risk, maybe, but we're having a little bit of a problem right now with suddenly funding disappears, maybe illegally, things like that. There's a lot to talk about in that regard, but I want to hear from you, kind of your take, your reason. Normally, Bobby's like the reasoned, on the ground take. He's not here to sensationalize anything or undersell anything. He's here to give it to you straight. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, this government's role in science and whatnot because of things changing. And like you said, normally I try to separate my feelings about politics and my feelings about science. And in fact, a lot of my approach to politics has always been, you know what, I'm just going to focus on the science stuff and leave all the other politics and economics and all that stuff to the people who probably can. And I'm just going to, what my issues are is science. And that's right. And that's served me well, kept me from being stressed about, elections and politics in general, because I'm focusing on the thing that I care about. But it's getting harder and harder to do that because science and it's spilling over and it's affecting how things happen in science a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're only 2 weeks into this thing, so that's the big question: is whatever the problem is, whatever potential damage there is to programs, either short-term, long-term, has there been enough time to even really assess that?
Probably not. And it's probably going to get worse. I wanted to start with, I talked about this a little bit on the TMS, or not TMS, on the All Around Science podcast, the episode that's coming out today. I talk a little bit about this, and I just wanted to set it up with this because this is what made me go down a road of starting to really think about this and get a little bit concerned about it, which is is this issue with red dye number 3. Have you guys heard that the FDA just banned red dye number 3?
Well, I remember growing up and being told that red dye number 3 was in M&Ms and stuff was going to kill everybody.
It was 5. That was red dye.
Oh, is that number 5?
Was the bad one when we were kids. I hadn't heard about 3 though.
Is 3 the replacement for 5? Is that what we get in the red?
Well, there's
M&Ms
a lot of
now?
different red dyes.
Okay,
sure. At least 5 of them by my count.
Yeah.
At least 5.
At least 5. Yeah.
But they're all like categorized and numbered, and because there's lots of different chemicals that can make different colors and are added as food additives, and they all get tested by the FDA because we want to make sure we're not adding chemicals to our foods that are going to be dangerous. And back in, I don't remember when this was. I think it was the late 60s, maybe early 70s. There was an amendment made to the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Called the Delaney Clause, which basically said, hey, we're prohibiting the approval of chemicals and food additives that are known to be carcinogens, that are known to cause cancer, right? Makes sense. So they did that back in the 70s or early 70s. And so it's just, if we know, if scientific research tells us that something is going to cause cancer, we don't approve it. That's just the FDA. That's like the most fundamental of basic FDA guidelines, right?
And if you're conspiratorial, you might say, well, of course the ban now. I mean, it's easy to get into that whole argument, but the fundamental idea is that if the FDA, if a study shows significant cancer risk, they don't approve it. Like that's
risk is an important word, and significant is an important word, as we'll get into. And I don't want to, like I said, I'm just giving the background here for what the next part of the discussion, which is this. So I don't want to spend if you want to know a lot of the details, just listen to All Around Science that came out this week on today. I go into a lot more detail, but just know that in 2022, some organizations raised a petition to the FDA to request them to look at red food dye number 3. To see if to go back and look at it again with some evidence to see if the Delaney Clause would apply, to see if they could get it banned. Ultimately, the FDA did decide to ban it in foods and ingested drugs. I just told you what the Delaney Clause was. The question is red? You would presume that must mean that red number 3 is carcinogenic, right? Mm-hmm. They went back and looked at it. So what is it? That's the question. Is it actually carcinogenic? And the short answer is almost certainly it's not. The evidence that they looked at was decades old. I think it was from maybe back in the 80s. So it's not like there's new evidence that they looked at. They looked at some old evidence, primarily focused on 2 studies in male rats where red dye number 3 caused thyroid tumors. But the thing is that the reason the evidence isn't great and that it's not really of concern, and the FDA, by the way, had already looked at this evidence to make their decision, or similar evidence to make their decision in the first place. But the studies, they used massive amounts of red dye number 3 in these rats. They gave them. You don't need to know all the numbers, but just know that it was almost 25,000 times more than the daily recommended intake.
Jeez Louises. That's a rat full of dye is what that is.
Yeah.
That's more dye than rat. I'm just going to say it.
I really think it feels like it is. But it was worse than that though. They gave them 25,000 times more of the daily recommended intake, but they gave that to them every day of their life for their entire life, and then assessed the rats after their death. So they had thyroid tumors. Turns out when you pump a rat full of a lot of chemicals, like way more than anyone would ever be able to take, it's going to have some bad effects. The other thing was that they found that the mechanism that caused tumors in the rats, like the biomechanism that goes from red food dye in their body to growing a thyroid tumor, that mechanism doesn't even exist in humans. So it's not really a risk. All right. So the question is, why did they ban it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's when we start to get into some thoughts about politics and things that have been happening recently. So one thing that I can say, and I want to try to make, I'm going to try to make it clear where the facts are and where the analysis is, in my opinion. Okay.
Sure.
One thing that we do know is, like I said, the evidence is old, and there was a statement in the statement that the FDA made to say, "Hey, we're banning red food dye number 3." That was the first the first paragraph of the statement that they made. The first sentence is, "Hey, we're banning red food dye number 3." And then at the end of that same paragraph, I'm going to read you what it says, because to me, this is really telling, and sort of leads me into the direction of thinking these things, and other people too. This wasn't an idea I came up with on my own.
Sure.
But what they said was, and here's the quote: "The way that red number 3 causes cancer in male rats does not occur in humans. Relevant exposure levels to red number 3 for humans are typically much lower than those that cause the effects shown in male rats. Studies in other animals and in humans did not show these effects. Claims that the use of red number 3 in food and in ingested drugs puts people at risk are not supported by the available scientific information."
Okay.
So,
all right.
Let that sink in a little bit.
All right.
After they said, "We're banning red food number 3," they then said that, red dye number 3. They then said that. To me, that sounds a little bit like, the joke I made on the podcast. I don't know if I kept it in the podcast recording that I did, but the joke I made while we were recording was like, it feels like, you want to lean in and be like, blink twice if if you are safe right now and saying this of your own, right, it feels like very passive aggressive, or very we're banning it, but we don't really think it's necessary to ban it.
Yeah, and usually that doesn't come from the same. Those arguments don't come from the same agency. Usually it's like, "Yep, we're banning it," and then you get a competing science journal document saying, and the reports were inconclusive, which is why they're banning it, but it probably won't cause cancer. But the fact that it's all coming from the same place is crazy.
Not just the same place, but in the same document, in the same paragraph of that document, right? Like, it's like they said, "We're banning it, but we don't want to."
Right. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It does kind of sound that way. Like they're saying.
Yeah. So again, that's speculation. They're not actually saying that, but it seems pretty obvious that they're saying that the evidence does not support the decision that they're making.
Right.
So why are they doing it? I keep saying that over and over.
Well, is it their way? Let me ask you a quick question. Is it simply come down to a poorly worded way of saying, because it's not, we no longer feel it's 100% conclusive, and until it is, we're taking it off the market? Or if that is what they meant, why didn't they just say that? Like, that happens sometimes if there's a concern.
I can't say exactly why. I know that so historically, the way that the FDA usually makes these decisions about things that should be allowed in food and not allowed in food are based on what are called risk assessments. There's a difference between hazard and risk. So a hazard is so with like biomedical stuff, a hazard would be, does a mechanism exist that could potentially cause harm, right? So hazard just means it is possible that harm could occur. Risk is like the likelihood that is actually going to happen. My favorite example of hazard versus risk is to say if you're at the beach, a shark in the water is a hazard to your health, right?
Yeah.
But if nobody is in the water, then there's no risk, even though there is a hazard.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
So that's an example. Yeah. So whenever researchers are doing toxicology studies, they're assessing hazard. They're saying that's why, like, you might think it's silly. Why do they take these rats and pump them full of 25,000 times the recommended daily intake? It's because they're assessing hazard. They're saying, is there a mechanism by which something could happen and we should be concerned about and look into it, right? So that's what these toxicology studies do. So that's what they were doing. They found a hazard in the rat with this dye in the rats. But the FDA is making their decision based on a risk assessment. Does it actually cause things? Now, by the way, if you go and look at the news surrounding this red dye number 3 thing, you're going to see a lot of differing opinions, and a lot of places are just reporting it and reporting what other experts are saying. This is a very fraught area of. This is very controversial because there are a lot of organizations that advocate or advocate for, a lot of science organizations even that advocate for removing food additives and everything, and sometimes sometimes it's agenda driven, and sometimes it's not really firmly planted in science, and it's all surrounding this hazard and risk thing. But the FDA typically makes risk assessments, and that's why they allowed this in the first place, is because of risk. But the thing is, back in June, if I say Chevron deference, have you ever heard that before? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Chevron deference. Let me guess. Chevy said, "I don't care if you don't like the new Corvette. We're in deference to that." No, that doesn't
Chevron's
work.
the company too, and it's also the
Chevron's an oil company, right?
Oil company.
Oh, what am I thinking? I'm thinking Chevrolet.
I think Chevrolet.
Yeah.
And you're not talking about the shape Chevron or the things they put underneath the news stories, like the little Chevron.
No, it actually does have to do with the oil company, but only because they were involved in the court case from a long, long time ago.
Gotcha.
What Chevron deference is, so we have a lot of laws in our country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And many of these laws are written in ways that are ambiguous. But the laws impact decisions and policies that agencies have to put into place, federal agencies, right?
Yeah.
So in order for federal agencies to make decisions, they often have to interpret the laws. Chevron deference is a legal doctrine that kind of got put into place back in the early 80s, mid to early 80s. What it did was it allowed federal agencies to interpret laws without having to worry about getting the courts involved, because that would slow down so many things that the agencies could do. And the agencies are typically, these federal agencies are typically employed by experts in their field. So they're better suited to often interpret and make these kinds of decisions that would be slowed down by courts, who would have to call the experts in anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Chevron deference is. It's been great. It's been in place for 40 years, and it's. I was looking into it. It's actually considered one of the most cited legal doctrines in all of administrative law. It just gets things done.
Chevron deference. I'm never going to forget it now. I like it.
Yeah.
It's
The reason it came into place was because of some, like coal or fossil fuel plant or something like that. Was the EPA was getting involved. It's the details aren't specific, but Chevron was involved in the court decision, so they called it Chevron deference.
Sure.
That Chevron deference was overturned by the Supreme Court in June of last year.
That was a quick one.
And so what happened? What that means is it shifted the authority from experts in federal agencies to the courts. So the authority is no longer in the hands of experts. It's now in the hands of federal courts. And most places that you read about it will tell you that this was not a great move. At least most of the places that I read, I'll give that caveat. Say that the switch from Chevron deference or overturning Chevron deference makes it so that expertise is no longer something that is being relied on in the courts. And so some people, myself included, think that that's what's going on with the FDA right now, is that in a situation where they're being asked to look at and having a lot of pressure put on them to look at this red dye number 3, they no longer have the historical backing of Chevron deference to rely on in order to feel confident in making these decisions. And so now they are going to cave, basically, because of...
So when you say the court's not to rely on expert opinion anymore, that being of scientists and those kinds of quote unquote witnesses and experts, that means that, I'm trying to picture in my head how one of this would work. Let's say somebody said one day, it has been determined, this is completely fake, I'm making this up, but it has been determined that the potato is poisonous, and we've been eating a poisonous thing forever, and the reason that we have such high cancer rates right now is because of these damn potatoes. Okay, cool. Do you go, so you take it to court, let's say you take it to court to get the banning of a potato as a foodstuff, and you no longer have to argue from the point of view of experts on either side of that. You can just say, well, like what is the legal basis now? Like, is there one?
There isn't. So I'm not a lawyer. I'll caveat that. So I don't know a lot of how it all works, but I know what I do know is that this legal doctrine that allowed the agencies to make those decisions is now able to be just made by the courts. Now, the courts will typically, they're going to try to get experts involved anyway. So I'm not saying that that's going to disappear. I'm not saying that.
Gotcha.
But what I am saying is that that the courts can intervene whenever they want now, and they can make these types of decisions with or without expert opinion. And it puts it in the place. So one of the concerns here is that courts, federal courts, are appointed positions. They're not beholden to the public in any way. I mean, they are in a sense, but you know what I mean. Like they're appointed positions. They're not elected positions, is what I'm saying.
Right. Right.
And if you combine this kind of idea with these recent changes with like Schedule F, the schedule policy career changes that have been made in the government, where it makes it easier to the executive order that was done not too long ago, it makes it easier to fire federal employees who are not loyally executing the president's will. That makes it, what it does is it creates sort of a chilling effect in the civil service, and makes people, especially in science, which is already a fraught, like a lot of science is already fraught with things like environmental things. We've got climate change science. We've got other sciences that fall under there was also a memo that recently came out. I'm scattering a little bit because all these thoughts are running through my head lately and I haven't organized them all, but
it's all right.
There was
all right, it's totally all right.
Yeah,
there was not too long ago, I think maybe a week ago, there was that memo which did get rescinded, but there was a memo that went around saying that a lot of federal agencies got told to freeze their grant fundings.
Right.
And it was all grant funding that had to do with, quote, DEI, woke gender ideology. That's their words, woke gender ideology. Literally on the memo it said that. And the Green New Deal, which, whatever, nobody calls it the Green New Deal anymore. But all the, like it's got people, it has an effect on how science is done, how science is funded, and the decisions that people make. And I think that we're just seeing science is we're going to have a problem with science in our country for a little bit, because people aren't going to know, are we going to get funded? Are the things that are the decisions that we're going to be trying to help inform, are they even going to, is this going to influence policy in any way whatsoever? Which a lot of these federal agencies, which are trying to, like, think about the CDC, think about the FDA, all these things.
You always worry, or you think about like what is the long-term damage with stuff like this? Like let's say something fundamentally changes with how studies are received, implemented, or otherwise approved, and it's what you worry about is how permanent that is, or how hard it would be to dislodge it down the road, when another generation is trying to deal with these things or whatever. And I may be a little too optimistic, but I always think about things like prohibition.
Sure.
They put it in, they took it out, and it was an amendment to the damned Constitution. Like it was a big deal,
right?
And yet that still happened. I'm not saying that's the best example, because it's kind of a fraught example of, alcohol consumption has its problems. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not as clear cut to me as saying something's bad for these rats or isn't. So it is different, but you know what I'm saying.
You would think that it's clear cut, but still the FDA banned it, right?
Right. Right.
And so that's what's causing me to think all these things and make me wonder about these things. But you're not wrong, Scott. Like the idea that these types of things can be put into place, laws and stuff can be put into place and then taken away when the next administration comes in it's existed, obviously, because there's a legal basis for it happening now, I guess. But it's happening so much more now, where and it's like whiplash in the past couple of weeks, where a president comes in and says, well, we're just going to redo and undo everything that was done before, and we're going to redo it again. And again, it's not the first time this has happened. It happened before, where a ton of Obama's stuff, and presidents do this, is what I'm saying, sometimes. But it just feels like it's happening a lot more, and it's either it is creating or it's going to create a sense of instability, and that's a big problem with the government in general, but science. So we like to pride ourselves here that we attract a lot with all the universities that we have, with all the federal funding for science and everything. We attract a lot of people who want to do science from around the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the best and brightest, you would argue.
Right. So if we create an unstable environment where, at the very least, scientists don't know whether or not their research is going to continue to be funded, they're going to go somewhere else. And also current stuff that's being worked on is going to have to be moved, and it's going to slow things down. And we're at a time when, like, especially with climate change and the environment, we're at a time where we need lots of science happening quickly. And then also, like, think about the pandemic. That science had to happen very fast. We can't have people wondering.
Yeah.
Like, we need stability in order for these kinds of things to happen.
Yeah. See, my biggest concern isn't so much to tack onto my point about if you can introduce something that was a bad idea, you can take it away. And so that, in the long run, we can amend ourselves. My biggest worry is the division is so bad that if we end up with this seesaw effect of every 4 years, everything the last administration did gets rescinded and new stuff gets put in place, whether you favor those new things or not, then you wait for the next cycle. And that division is so hard that now they win and now they rescind everything. That is the definition of not stable.
Right.
One of the great things about it is you have ideological differences over a vast amount of time, as long as we've existed as a country. But there was always this sense of, like, generally we keep moving, generally speaking.
Right.
Always there's bumps, always there's dips, but there's this general continuity. When the old people leave and the new people come in, you don't go and just, like, set everything on fire and start over. That is a precedent that now the next group is going to demand that. Like, the constituency of those who are mad now, you know what they're going to ask for? The next time, quote unquote, their people win, is a gutting again. And I'm not even saying that those things shouldn't be gutted. What I'm saying is that pattern is bad. That is unstable and untenable. It's not good.
And you know what else it does is it creates a general sense that, like, in people, a lack of ability to trust what's true. Like, we have this problem now with people not being able to know what is true and what's not. And if you add that to, well, this science is being ripped out and this new stuff is being started, like, people are like, people begin to lose trust in the process of science, even though it's not necessarily the scientist's fault. It has this effect, right? And we've seen it polls since, especially since COVID, the public trust in science is going down and down and down, and that's a problem. And it's all connected to this instability, and I'm glad you brought up the instability, because that's the point. You're helping me realize that that's kind of at the core of the thing that's bothering me so much right now is this instability.
Yeah, and the instability. I mean, it's like anything. It's like a family. It's any relationship. Like if I come home, I work from home, but let's say I was coming home from the office like I used to, and I walked in and immediately said, "There's a pretty good chance the house is going to be on fire tonight. Everybody be vigilant." Also, we're having dinner. Isn't this great? Who left the TV on? Like if I'm constantly going back and forth like that, the family is going to go, it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
And,
right.
And it's so easy to ruin. It's so easy to walk into a building and break everything than it is to build stuff that matters or to alter things to make them better. It's so easy to just come in and destroy things. And some people think that's what you absolutely need is to destroy things to make them, to fit them to be your image. So knowing all of that, I hope the ultimate outcome of all this is we find a way to get back to it being boring when it transitions. I just need it to be boring.
That's
again.
what I was saying at the beginning, right? Is that I've always stayed out of politics and I've always been comfortably nestled in my seat and just saying, keep my head down and look at what's going on in the world of science and just let all this kind of pass,
Yeah.
But it's becoming hard to do that now. And is this what people who get all in a tizzy about politics feel like all the time?
all the time.
Yes.
They feel like this all the time.
They feel like this all the time, and they think, again, that we have been taught, and successfully taught, I might add, that it's all about left and right. That is the biggest lie we've ever been told, and we all bought it. It's about up and down. That's it. It's about being down here and punching up there, and them wanting to keep us as split as possible. And until we, as human beings, figure out a way to stop thinking it's my neighbor's problem and realize that he and I are in the same boat, regardless of how we may feel or which side we got convinced to be on, it's up there's the problem. And we got to figure out a way to do that. That's really the end game for me, is finding a way in my own little circle, whatever influence I have, that's where I have to do this. And the fight is not horizontal, it is vertical. Like a big, I don't know how a good word for it, a big vertical thing.
A tower?
I don't know, a tower, sure, a tower. I like tower. Well, this is interesting. So
local, going big local as opposed to going wide and failing.
Exactly. So real quick note. Here are the things you're going to see right away without red number 3, just to get back to this banning.
Oh, okay. Ooh, good. Level list.
Yeah, no more rainbow sprinkles. Well, they'll put something else in there, but they will no longer be using rainbow sprinkles. I'm not even sure what those are. I assume it's
just the red part of the rainbow sprinkles.
Okay.
Like you're not going to go heavy in yellow.
Candy corns, specifically candy corn, lollipops of various kinds, jelly beans of various kinds, and those candy necklaces that your kids would chew on them, get all the sticky and gross.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying I want those to go away, but I'm saying you got to look for your silver linings, okay? Because those are gross.
They really are.
That's the other thing is
the string gets all soggy and gross.
Yeah, it's bad.
They even said in their statement that they were like, look, because not a lot of things have red number 3 anymore, because California is always like, if they smell even a hint of cancer somewhere, they're like, God ban it.
Yeah, they are very quick to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So they did this back in 2023, and there's so many people in California that companies are like, well, I guess we're getting rid of it because we want to be able to sell it in California. So the FDA even said at the end of their statement, like, not a lot of things have red number 3 anymore, but I guess we're doing this.
Yeah. Well, and they also, so here are the other ones. This is going to, Claire, I hope you're sitting down. Are you ready for this? Although she lives in a part of the world where they don't care, but vegan meats, including imitation bacon and sausages. So watch out, vegans. You're in trouble. Red or pink frosting, so no more pink cakes. Strawberry milk or nutrition shakes that use the dye. chewing gum of various kinds, gummy vitamins will all change, and mashed potato mixes, which threw me for a loop. Everything else on here makes sense, but you're telling me there's red dye number 3 in my mashed potato mix?
Weird. Bizarre. Yeah. What? That's crazy.
That's funny.
You certainly can't tell. The red is gone. So
yeah. What color is that stuff without?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Anyway, and peeps are screwed. So
sure.
if you miss your peeps or you want your marshmallow pink peeps, done.
Let peeps go. Let peeps just die a horrible death because those things are nasty.
Yep. DIY or DYE, a horrible death. Get it? Die. Get it?
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Well, Bobby, I hope that the end result of all this is, like we said, some semblance of it's a normalcy and just stability. Nobody's asking for. It's never going to be perfect, right? Because that's the whole point of science. Is great because science is like, we don't have all the answers. And some people look at that and go, "Bah, how dare them then?" No, the answer is that we're always looking for them. And we may get an answer once and go, this is the answer. And 10 years later go, we have better techniques now. It turns out that isn't the full answer. It's more complicated. Here's the new answer. That's good. We want that.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as absolutes except for the statement that there are no such things as absolutes. It's the only absolute you can count on.
Yeah.
Right.
And the vodka brand, I suppose. That's it.
Don't remind me.
Do you like a little absolute?
I do like the absolute. That is second vodka of choice. I prefer the big tall what is it called? Not Grey Goose. Stratosphere's gin. Anyway, yeah.
Well, the good news is red dye number 3 dies in vodka immediately, so we're all okay.
It's all vapor. It's vanquished immediately once you combine the two.
Well, Bobby, as always, a pleasure, and of course, more of this on All Around Science, which you can get anywhere you get your podcasts. We also have an episode of The Instance coming up on the 14th. No, is that what we said?
I think so. It's on my calendar.
I'll figure it out.
2 weeks from today.
There it is. 16th. Sorry, 16th, Sunday.
16th. Yeah.
We're going to record that day.
Stuff.
Yeah. So that'll be then. Watch for that. And this latest episode, All Around Science, is going to talk more about red dye number 3 and these surrounding issues. Bobby, is there anything else?
Thanks for letting me rant. I do it about once a year. And
anytime.
Dude, even your ranty venti has like scientific value. I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because you do it in a scientific way.
I just had a ranty venti at Starbucks.
They're so good. They're a little burnt.
It was a venti ranty.
Yeah.
It was a venti ranty.
They still taste a little burnt over there.
Oat milk venti ranty.
I dare you to order one like that from a drive up, and then you record it for the show. That's what you should do.
Is Sterling get a ranty venti?
Well, anyway, if you want to do that thing Friday, let me know. We'll have you and your daughter on.
I'll let you know. I'll ask my daughter. She's very shy, so she might not want to.
And even if it's just for like 30 seconds, tell her. If not, totally cool too. But she is welcome during her week of following Dad around.
I will.
Have a fantastic rest of your week. We'll see you soon.
See you, Bobby.
All righty. Brian, we're back at it here on the end of the show here.
Yes, we are.
I do have a couple of things. One thing I will give you, if I can find it. Why
did you want to talk about that thing we pulled from the top due to time?
Yeah, I dropped. Somehow I lost. How did I lose our
It's still
notes?
up at the top for me. The one-eyed Brian Ibbett.
I mean, my whole sheet went away. What happened here?
Oh, here. Well, I can copy and put that
found it.
on there.
I found it.
Okay.
Here it is. Okay. Couple things. Monday show, a little bit later, noon. All right.
Noon.
Me and Carter.
Carter.
She's back from
Funny
Sedona.
stuff.
She's back from Sedona. She had a crow follow them around for like a day. We're going to talk about all that.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's
Was
exciting
it
stuff. It was not, but it had 3 eyes, so maybe there's hope.
Yep.
Quick note about the film fest. Submissions closed. We did it. I gave it a whole extra 10 hours into the first, just for the heck of it. But it's closed. Submissions are done. Judging will happen soon. Winner will be chosen soon. Watch for that. More info there. And finally, this note about the one-eyed Brian Ibbett. Zarek wrote in. Ohio-ass warlock is what he wrote.
Ooh, love it. Okay.
He's great. He says, ahoy, catching up on this week where I heard Brian Ibbett talk about needing only one eye contact. Does this imply that Brian could theoretically wear a functional prescription monocle? You could.
100% could. Yeah, I totally could. Would I? No, because that's a lot of strain on the muscle of this, like keeping it kind of pinned in there. monocles were a great idea if you just needed something like really quick to like put in your eye and like look at that. Oh yeah, that looks good. And then, or if you put it in there right before you know you're going to be surprised about something, so you can go, oh, and
have it fall out. It is a trope you see a lot.
It is.
I think you, for fun.
Yeah.
Some enterprise. We used to have a guy that worked at an eye center place.
Yeah.
And he sent us glasses once. In fact, I think these might be the pair I got from him.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure. Maybe
you're
the
not talking
Ray-Bans.
about the Warby Parker thing.
No. It was a dude who worked in a place. He's the one that talked to Morgan Freeman for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And Morgan Freeman asked about what show he was playing.
I'm liking this podcast. I might just have to subscribe to it.
I might have to. Anyway, if he's still listening, I haven't heard from him in a long time. If he's still listening and you have the wherewithal to make a monocle,
yeah, I'll send him my prescription information.
That would be so cool, dude. I just think Brian having a prescription monocle in his possession is a rad idea. So let us know. Anyway,
can you get a quality prescription monocle in about half an hour?
It has to be 30 minutes or less.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Or it's free. Do like Domino's.
Or it's free. No, it's not Domino's. I don't think it operates like that.
You know how
I did.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, no, finish.
I was just going to tell you, but I learned something about Domino's this week. The reason they stopped their 30 minutes or it's free thing, I always wondered about why. Mm-hmm. So I dug in a little bit. The reason they stopped doing it is because they were having massive accidents that ended up killing 2 people.
Oh, God. The drivers would be like scrambling because it probably came out of their pay or something.
Yeah, so they had to haul ass. Oh, my gosh, my video thing did that.
I love that. A lot of Domino's drivers died. Balloons!
Yeah, balloons. Give it a thumbs up. Anyway, I thought I turned all that off. Anyway, they had all these accidents. It took 2 people dying, though. Like, one happened, they called it a fluke and just whatever, and then eventually it happened again in a whole different city, and they just felt like they're like, we can't do this anymore. Yeah. So now they do this thing. I don't even know if it's that public, but they do a thing called emergency pizza. That's what it is. So if they're late with your order, they'll come with your order plus an extra pizza as a way of saying, sorry, that was late. Here's your emergency pizza. And they did that right around the pandemic because the pandemic, everybody was getting delivery from everybody, and Domino's had a drop in deliveries. Anyway, it's the whole thing. I don't know why I took this deep dive on Domino's, and I don't know why I did it, but I did. Anyway, you were going to say something,
Yeah, so one of the other things I did this weekend, I'll just do this real quick, is went to a thing called Basement Bowl. This guy a friend of ours named Leonard, twice a year has everybody in all of the trivia teams that I belong to come to his house, where in the basement he's got a table set up with 4 or 5 chairs on either side, a buzzer system, video, audio, and basically everybody who shows up, or a lot of people who show up, write a trivia game and present it to the other people who show up and play. So it's almost like a D&D thing, except with trivia, and the DM changes every 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of cool.
It's really cool. I want to do a little mini documentary, a little YouTube mini documentary in 6 months when we have the next one, and just show people what it's like, because it's a blast.
That's really cool. Never even heard of that.
One of the questions I got that I'm very proud of, because I talked my way through this whole thing, the rest of my team staring blankly at me, and the trivia question was, and it's all the way the trivia question was worded in a very confusing way, but basically, the answer is going to be 4 actors slash actresses. The original 2 met during filming of a movie or TV series, and then he cheated on her with another actress, and they split up, and then she, the original wife, was in a movie with another actor where he cheated on her, and all 4 of them ended up in the Harry Potter franchise. Name these 4 performers.
It's got to be the old British people, right? Like,
it's British people.
So it's not like.
So yeah. So
the question is it like the kids, or is it the old actors? All right, do it again.
It's older actors. So the original 2 met during filming, got married. He cheated on her with another actress, and she later was in a movie where she got cheated on by another actor, and all 4 of them are Harry Potter actors.
Oh, I'm going to make a guess here.
Yes.
Second movie, dark arts teacher, Kenneth Branagh, and big googly-eyed, what's her name teacher? They're both in Harry Potter. Trelawney. He cheated on her, I think, if I remember. I heard this somewhere. I don't know who with, though. See, this is the problem. It breaks down after that. Am I getting there? Am I on the right couple?
You are, yes. You're very much getting there. Yes.
Okay, so I remember that was a fairly public breakup or fight. And then...
It was, yep.
So he had an affair with somebody in the Harry Potter cast?
Yes, but not during filming of Harry Potter, but had an affair with a future Harry Potter cast member.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Or did they? It was 1995. No, there wouldn't have been. There wasn't a Harry Potter movie.
Not yet. There wasn't even a book yet. I don't think. Maybe there was. 97, whatever it was.
And then she. So you figured out the original couple is Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
And then she was later in a movie where her husband cheated on her. He's also a Harry Potter actor.
I'm trying to think of other adults who aren't like ancient. It's like Maggie Smith or something.
No, I'm talking about a dude who cheated on her.
Right.
A character, movie character. Not in real life, but a movie character in a movie cheated on her.
Shit. In a whole different movie, though.
That's right.
Was it the Christmas one?
It is. Yep.
Okay.
Making it.
So the actor is Mr. Potter.
Snape.
Snape. I can't think of his real name. Alan Rickman. Yep. So Alan Rickman.
So now all you need is who Kenneth Branagh cheated on Emma Thompson with, and you've got this.
Helena Bonham Carter.
That's exactly right.
Really?
Yep. Helena Bonham Carter. Yeah. Yeah. With Bellatrix Lestrange.
Because she's the only other. Well, her and the one young, the one that was with Vargas. I can't think of her name.
Sure.
She's the only other one I could think of that would be like in the age range, and not Maggie Smith or freaking
who's the one all in pink?
Mrs. The evil one.
Yes, the evil one.
The Hitler lady.
She would have been around the right age too, but
that's funny. Umbridge, that's it.
Umbridge, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's a fun one. I like that.
It was a fun trivia question. It took me about a minute to like. They gave me the time to suss it all out. The DM, the host of the trivia. Once he presented that question, I was like, okay. Because initially I was thinking Depp and because Helena Bonham Carter was with Johnny Depp for a while, and he wasn't in Harry Potter, but he played a young Dumbledore in the Fantastic Beasts
Mr.
or whatever.
Beast thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I thought she was married to Tim Burton.
She's married to Tim Burton now, yeah.
Okay, now she is.
Or was.
Maybe the cheat. Who knows? These people with their lives, man.
Anyway. Not anymore, apparently, says Jeannie. But anyway, so yeah, they were nice enough to give me 2 or 3 minutes to work my way through all of that stuff. Oh, Grindelwald, right. He plays the young Grindelwald, thank you.
Oh, yeah. For a hot second, then they didn't in the next one or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. But this is
mad at.
This is so Plum's a Plum's style riddle of like me working my way through it and figuring.
Neither took Dumbledores nor left Dumbledores.
Exactly.
But there are Dumbledores on the tree. All right, that's going to do it today, everybody. Thank you for listening. Quick shout out to Squishy, just for no reason, just a good dude. I like him. So hey, Squishy, hope you're doing good. frogpants.com/TMS is the place to go for everything you're looking for, and that means everything. So go use it. It's there for you. Brian, let's play a song and leave these people with a happy tune in their heart.
Will do. Jinx 621 wrote in and said, hey, it's a Chinese New Year and it's the year of the snake. Any song with snake or a snake band theme will do. It is the best Zodiac JLOL. Oh no, LOL. Okay, it is the best Zodiac LOL.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Sure.
I can't argue with that. I do like the animals in the Chinese Zodiac a lot better than our, scales. Or here's a guy with a bow and arrow on a horse. Great.
I just watched Zodiac again. I love that movie.
Yeah, totally.
So good.
Totally different thing there too.
Yeah, very different.
So Snake theme, I actually had this queued up for last week and forgot that we had a play date, so I pushed it to today. This came out on that fantastic Information Society cover album from 2016. It's a cover of a song by Snakefinger, and if you really want some fun, go find the original Snakefinger video. It's on YouTube, and get ready to have your mind blown at what a bizarre Adventures in the Forbidden Zone meets Mad Max kind of video it is.
Whoa.
The song is called Man in the Dark Sedan. It's Information Society. There you go. Happy Monday, folks.
Wear them loud and proud, friend. Be large and in charge. You're always welcome at frogpants.com.
One girl, two straws.